Leafs win. Three to one over the Winnipeg Jets. They are now 3-1-0 on the season and first in the Canadian North Division. It's kind of weird to say. I'm very used to saying Atlantic Division, but to be first out of all the Canadian teams is cool. Regardless, this was a big win for us and a good start to the Jets-Leafs mass amount of games that we're going to be playing against them this year, as goes for a lot of other Canadian teams. So it's good to get off on the right foot. So it started off with, we were just on fire on everything, like our passing, our zone exits, and zone entry. Everything about our game in the first period was really good. And we definitely looked more focused during this game, and I would probably say that this was our best game of the season, even though it's only 4 games. But out of the 4, it was for sure far and away the best, and we performed probably how you're going to want us to do on any given night. Now, keeping the score to 3-1 was really important because you didn't want a 5-4 win. I mean, you would get the 2 points, but we were talking about Frederik Andersen and his inflated goals against average and his early bad record, not in wins, but early bad stats in general. Like, he was giving up a lot of goals. Now, with the Leafs on the power play, John Tavares scored from Nylander and Muzzin. Hellebuck was absolutely fooled by it, and as you can see on the goal, he just had a wide open net pretty much, but that got us 1-0, and our power play continues to stay hot as it began last year. So if we can keep our power play hot, that's the thing that makes us win the most and make teams fear going on the penalty kill. Now to make it 2-0, Justin Hall hit a one-timer from Austin Matthews, and it just trickled behind Hellebuck, and Mitch Marner picked up the garbage and tucked it in. So that's his second of the season, and Marner is another guy that you just want to see consistently try to take over those games, and maybe he could be leading the Leafs in points by the end of the year, or at least 1-2 with Matthews. With under a minute remaining in the second period, we didn't really close out how we wanted to that period, probably the little bit of imperfection in the game. Kyle Connor scored and continues to show why he is touted as one of the Jets' most underrated players, even though he puts up almost 40 goals a season in his very young career. And so he cut the lead in half, and we need to see if we can respond after that. So for the rest of the game, it was 2-1 until the end when Mitch Marner scores an empty netter, his second of the game, third of the season. So basically, looking around the game, the stat line of Frederik Andersen is something that everyone was waiting for, and it was a really important game for him, and it couldn't have came against a more formidable opponent than the Winnipeg Jets, them being a great offensive team, really good on puck movement, power play, net front presence, everything like that. So he had 27 saves on 28 shots and a .964 save percentage, and that's really going to boost up his numbers early on. Frederik Andersen is a well-known slow starter, very notorious for that over the last few years. October, early on in the season, is usually his bad month. Although it's not October, he's still kind of following that trend. So maybe we can see some more consistency from Freddie, because we really don't want a goalie controversy in a shortened season. Our penalty kills been pretty impressive too. With Marner and Matthews on some of the penalty kills, it's brought a whole new dynamic to it. Some offensive threat, although you don't look for offense on a penalty kill, it just, when they know that they're really skilled at breaking up pucks and breaking up passes in those two, they know that the threat of a breakaway or an odd man rush the other way can happen any second. Although we didn't get any shorthanded goals, they were 0 for 4 on their power plays. Now, an honorable mention of someone who I think really was good in this game that not a lot of people were talking about was Zach Hyman. He was really, even just the first few games of the season, but this game really showed that he was still battling for every puck and just waiting, like turning in the corners the best that he can. Although he doesn't have great puck skills, he was putting the puck in places for some of his line mates to come in and pick up loose pucks, and when he wins those puck battles, that's a huge advantage for the team, because those 50-50 battles become maybe a little bit more than 50% won. And that's what you look for, because you want to get your skilled guys to pick up those loose pucks out of those scrums. So if the Leafs can make it 4-1-0, this will be one of their better starts this season in the last couple years. And we're looking to do that against the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night, against Connor McDavid, and the Oilers aren't off to a great start. They're having a lot of issues right now. They were picked by a lot of people to win this North Division, but if we can get some dominance early and get ourselves to the top of those standings, that will do huge favors for us, because really what we're trying to do, we're trying to shoot for home ice for the playoffs. That's something that we haven't had since we've had this core together, and they need to try to get home ice advantage, because that does a lot. And I know there's no people in the stands, but it's when you're thinking about a long playoff run, you do want to be playing in your home building, whether it's how the boards play, how the ice is, or anything like that. Or in any other year where the fans are there, it's about just familiarity and having that advantage. So I hope everyone's enjoying this Leafs coverage for the early season, and I'm really enjoying just focusing on the Leafs right now. And let's see where they can go from here. I'm really interested. They're looking really good, and we'll see. It's a really unusual season, and you can expect unusual results. So thanks everyone so much for coming by and watching, everyone who supports the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys after the Leafs-Oilers game.